Welcome back to the Inside Track. Almost 2 weeks ago, Team Vestas Wind crashed into an atoll in the middle of the Indian Ocean. We've seen phenomenal footage from that evening from Onboard reporter and special guest today, Brian Carlin. Brian, you've told the story plenty of times, but can you tell us again a brief overview from your perspective of that night?
Yeah, well, I was in the heads at the time of the impact, which everybody seems to be laughing about. It's kind of ironic, but yeah, and we hit the reef, and I went flying forward and ended up on the floor and banging my head off the crash bulkhead. And at that stage, I'm not really sure what was going on. I don't know if I kind of blacked out, or there was a second or two where I wasn't sure what was happening. And then I picked myself up and walked back into the main quarters, like by the galley, and then everybody was kind of running around, and I stuck my head up out the hatch and saw breaking water, and I hit the crash button on the video, and then everybody was okay. That was the main thing at the time. So I just went straight down to my media desk and started copying the footage from the crash button. Then that was my only concern then at that stage, was like, well, we knew everybody was fine, so what I wanted to do was capture as much as I could. And I remember turning the camera on myself at that stage, and you know, it was just the cracking of carbon and stuff was insane. And after that point, I don't remember any of the stuff I did in terms of the pieces of the camera. I don't remember any of it. Having watched it, I was sitting here in the office this morning going, oh, yeah, I don't remember. It's like I blacked it out, or I blocked it out. Ooh. Bow section is fine. The aft, can't quite say it's the same. And then when I went up on deck, I was like, whoa, yeah, this isn't good. There was just these massive waves breaking in, and I don't know how big they were. It was dark, it was at night time, and Pete and Nikolai were calling the waves, and it was exhausting because you were trying to hold on with the impact. I can't describe it. Like every couple of minutes, you'd get a big wave coming in, and it'd be bang, and everybody'd be holding on for, you know, literally hugging a winch, you know, full body around it, wrapping on, just trying to brace yourself for impact to stop yourself falling off the boat. I mean, we'd harnessed ourselves on as well, but that in itself, then I was like, well, if the keel falls off, I'm attached to the boat, and it was just, and that went on for like hours of this. Nico was like, okay, I think we have to go. There was this. The reef, what the irony of the situation was, the reef is like 6 or 7 feet away from the boat, but we couldn't get to it for the previous couple of hours because the waves were too bad. So you see this big wave crashing in all over the reef. If you fell in, I don't know what it wouldn't have been pretty, that's for sure. Eventually, when the waves kind of calmed down a little bit, we were able to see, okay, well, we'll be able to, we got smashed back into the reef. And I think it's probably as the hull started breaking away underneath us, we got kind of closer to the reef, so we were able to jump off the back of the boat, and that's what we did. Tom went first and secured a rope so we could hold on to something, and then we got into the life raft, and to worry about sharks. I thought Nico was joking. I was like, "You serious?" He says, "Yeah, there's shark-infested waters. I mean, you couldn't write this. You know, I couldn't believe it," and that was it. We sat in that life raft for, I think it was nearly 2 hours, and I remember basically the sun was coming up, and then, you know, you realised where you were in this like paradise island. You know, it was just incredibly beautiful, but at the same time, it was like the most horrific thing I've ever been through anyway.
What were your biggest fears that night?
I didn't want to leave the boat. That was the really big thing, because these waves are massive, and basically they were crashing onto the reef, and I just thought, you know, if I fall in here, I'm going to end up drowning. I went through to my mind a couple of times where I thought, you know, I'd get my foot stuck in a rock, or my life jacket would go off and inflate while I'm, you know, snagged in some piece, and I couldn't. I mean, that was the biggest fear. I still, you know, I really thought, you know, I'm going to need to be pushed off the back here, and I had said it to Sicho afterwards, and he said I was ready to push, because he said I thought I was going to have to push you and Pete. Yeah, and he didn't. I mean, I jumped, but you know, up until the part where I actually got to the back of the boat to look over how far the rock was, it was difficult.
And you said Tom went first. Why was that?
Well, I think that was a good decision from Nico as well, because Tom's grown up surfing. He's in big surfs all the time, and he basically was the most qualified person to get off and get into the water, and that's why the decision was made to send Tom first, and he did an amazing job actually. And then Salty then went after him, and they secured the line together, and then we all subsequently got off, and Nick was the last one then off the boat. Yeah.
Now that you're a week on, it's almost 2 weeks on, how's your perspective changed?
I have moments where I'm like, everything's okay, it's fine, and then it's like, whoa, this thing could have been so much worse. And I haven't had a chance. I haven't been alone. I haven't, everybody's been around, and which is amazing, and the support has been great. But I think when I get home and I settle down and it all I reflect back on it, it might be a bit different. But right now, I'm fine. I'm doing okay, and we've great support. So Vestas has been pretty amazing.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Brian, and thank you for doing such an incredible job documenting that evening so we could all experience it. That's it for us for today, and we'll see you soon.